this comment right here really hits home for me because I felt the exact same way when I was pregnant with my kids, and I didn't know that I would need the stem cells for treatment for our son until he was 22 months of age. So I was completely lost. A little background story: my son, who is now 3.5, he was completely neurotypical from the get-go up until 22 months of age. Then he suffered like a severe developmental regression, a social regression, also like a speech regression where he went completely mute for a while. What we did is we went all the way to Mumbai, India for stem cell therapy. And what they do is they take stem cells from like placentas and cords, like donor ones. Those are great and everything, and they can be administered into the IV. However, we had to use a bone marrow aspiration, and essentially almost like a transplant. And they separate them and then they go ahead and inject them into the spinal fluid. Had we banked his cord and placenta, we would have had a perfect match and not had to do that portion of things. Also, it probably would have been substantially higher amounts of these stem cells because there's just such a surplus amount in their cord and their and their placenta. Anyways, so we had to go all the way to India, which is expensive. The flights alone were like $4,200. The treatment itself was like $8,500. So it's super expensive. Had I just banked this cord, which at the time, again, I ran into a bunch where they were super expensive as well. But I did find one. There's a few competitors that are now offering lower rates. The lowest that I found was from Anja Health. I'll go ahead and tag them down below. I have a link in my bio because I feel really strongly about banking them. But anyways, had we had the exact match, we would have been able to have those administered directly into the spinal fluid. Probably not had to have traveled so far. The flights would have been cheaper, the procedure would have been cheaper, and it would have probably been more beneficial. So that's probably one of my bigger regrets. So don't do what I did. Bank the cord, bank the placenta. You never know when you're going to need it. Who's to say at whatever age you can decide and not do it, but don't just negate that decision for yourself. Do it for a while and then decide from there.